Brows are looking uneven, but I really just don't have the time. Hey y'all, hi. So we're here today primarily because I got the tip off that this Makeup by Michell cream cheek palette is ideal for pale olive skin. And it does look, or it did, I actually haven't opened it since it arrived. But I remember when I looked it up after getting, I think it was a YouTube comment about it. Yes, the colors look very unusual and totally perfect and like something that I would have designed myself. So I got it to review and then I forgot what it looked like. So I'm excited to open it. And then I have a couple of other things. The Merit Holiday Lip Set with a new lip formula. Gorgeous products from this brand YSE. Iris&Romeo Best Skin Days. The new Armani eye tint. I'm glad you're here if you're new. My name is Hannah. I'm a writer. I will link my book down below, my recently published first book. I also make YouTube videos about aesthetics, including some standard beauty content, which is what this is today. And if you like it, I hope you will subscribe. Now let's go ahead and get into the meat of the video. You know what I'm gonna do? Two things. Zoom you in. I've been feeling like I'm kind of far away lately for makeup videos. All right, there I feel like you'll be able to see everything a lot better at this distance. I'm also going to apply the Lawless Beauty Forget the Filler Lip Plumping Line Smoothing Gloss in the shade Rosy Outlook. I will lip swatch all three of the shades in the Merit Dress Code set, which is a 3-lip holiday set. I think that these are 3 new products. One is actually a new lip formula and the other 2 are just new colors in their existing lip formulas. I will swatch all 3 of them on my lips, but I'm gonna do it towards the end of the video. For the time being, it's nice to have something on my lips, and this is really effective at plumping and line smoothing, and I find that after I wear it for 10 or 15 minutes, then lip products go on much better. Okay, I'm so excited to try this, even though it's not the kind of product I usually like. It's just so beautiful. This is the YSE Beauty Skin Glow SPF 30 Primer. It's a priming product that also has some SPF in it. I don't usually prefer to mix those things. I feel like you can't get enough SPF from a makeup product or like a nourishing skincare product. You have to apply your SPF as its own step. But it's nice to have a little extra boost from a primer. However, this is a chemical sunscreen. It has a bunch of chemical screens in it, and I don't usually use chemical sunscreen. So I can't see this becoming my everyday, but I'm really curious about what it's like, frankly, because the packaging is so stunning. I cannot. I literally cannot. The cap with the little gold rim underneath it. I mean, it just looks like they really know what they're doing. This makes me trust. So I'm going to try it as a primer today and see how it goes. I do have a tiny bit. I put a little bit of green color corrector on like 2 hours ago, but I think it's going to be fine. Okay, it looks pretty promising. Squeezing it out, it looks a little bit glowy and the color doesn't look too dark. It's clearly a little bit tinted, but it doesn't look too dark. We'll see. Okay, it actually really does feel like a sunscreen. I kind of take back what I said. I think that this is actually supposed to be a sunscreen more than a primer, and it's just a priming sunscreen. So I think that you could put enough of this on your face. Some primers, it feels like in order to get enough on your face to actually effectively prevent sunburn, you would be using way too much for the medium, but this feels like a proper sunscreen. So that's good. It's cosmetically elegant. It goes in nicely. It gives a nice glow. Put it on this side of my face, but not this side. I'm gonna get the other side caught up. Okay, it actually started pilling a little bit when I put a lot on, but I'm pretty sure that it's the fault of the moisturizer that I had on underneath. Not the green color corrector, but I had put on, well, the combination of things. I had like a lot of skincare on my face. My skin's been kind of dry and a little bit irritated, so I had like a thick, almost mask level layer of moisturizer on. Frankly, I should have kind of rinsed that off before I sat down to put on something else. So don't think that's the fault of this product. And the reason I don't think it is first of all, that was the situation. And also I put a pretty hefty layer on the back of my hand, let it set, rubbed it in, kind of tried to get it to pill, and it didn't pill. So it's not as though it pills on its own. It feels exquisite, frankly. And I think that if you don't mind chemical screens, this could be a really beautiful, basically like everyday base. I will probably keep it even though I don't usually wear chemical sunscreens, frankly, because the bottle's so beautiful. I'll probably keep it like to use for photography and stuff like that, and then wear it every once in a while. YSE Beauty also sent this, the Like a Gloss Hydrating Lip Mask. Equally beautiful. The packaging, everything about it. I mean, what is going on with this brand? It's just like truly exquisite. I'm putting this on top of the lip plumper that I already have. I know. It definitely feels as slidey and Vaseline-y as you would think based on how it looks. It's sort of jelly-like, but it has more body than Vaseline. It doesn't have that kind of disappearing oil quality. The copy says, restores like a mask, nourishes like a balm, and shines like a gloss. And I think that the most remarkable thing about this is that the gloss of it is very wet look. It's like a super high gloss shine product. And it has, I couldn't put my finger on it, but it says here, a delicate white tea scent. A really beautiful high-end feeling product. So pretty. This would make a great gift, this lip mask. Holiday season is almost upon us, so I'm starting to take note. All right, I really feel like prepped and polished and plumped and shined up. I'm going to test this product. Iris&Romeo Best Skin Days 5-in-1 Skincare. Dewy coverage. Oh, broad spectrum SPF 30. So this also is an SPF product, but this is a mineral screen. So this doesn't have a chemical sunscreen in it. It says sheer coverage evens out skin tone and adds a beautiful radiant glow. And the thing that I'm always concerned about is what I was concerned about with this, which is that it would not be light enough or olive enough for me. It looks like it could work. Let's see. Okay, I've only put it right here, just right under my eye, so you can really see the difference. The coverage is pretty sheer. Like, look how well it's blending into the rest of my skin. Unlike a full coverage foundation or concealer where you'd be able to see like a patch, it doesn't do that. It's quite sheer. I didn't realize it was going to be like that, so it sort of surprises me, but it makes me feel like this would be a good product for people who are uncomfortable with a lot of makeup, honestly. I think that that's the target audience. But it did do something to cover that redness, and the color is fine, it seems, so far. It's very sheer, and it's weird. It feels wet, cold. It feels really damp as it goes on, and then that sensation goes away. And it's actually not having that much of an effect on my skin. Visually, I mean, a very little bit. And I can't tell if that's because it's super sheer or because the color isn't light enough to bring it closer to the color of my neck. So it's basically like keeping my skin about the same color as what I'm trying to cover. I can't tell. I think it may be because it's so sheer. Here I have put it on my right hand, and you can barely see the difference between my two hands. So this is really a very lightly tinted skin tinting product. The color is actually fine. Like, it blended right into my hand. So that's good. That's not what I expected based on the images on the website. I thought it was going to be really peach. Products like this often are. The lightest shade often is really peach. I'm glad that that's not the problem, but also this is like Glossier skin tint level of sheer. I'm going to get it all over the rest of my face. We'll sort of assess the situation, see how it looks. It's so glowy, but I think that that's the YSE primer shining through because that's how sheer it is. We'll assess the situation, and then I might add just a little bit of my own concealer to kind of keep the balance. So there it is all over my whole face. It definitely hasn't done anything to cover. It's just evened the skin tone and done a bit of color correcting. So that's the level of coverage that we're talking about. And as I was putting it on, I realized what's disorienting me about this. The texture of this and the way that it feels going on, it feels very water-based. It feels distinctly, aggressively water-based. That, and then also the level of coverage, it's giving something in a squeezy tube. I associate this texture and this kind of performance with products that you squeeze out of a tube, like a tinted moisturizer in a tube. And I associate this type of packaging with much more concentrated, pigmented, heavy-duty coverage products, just because that's been my experience. That really threw me off. I feel like it's just category-wise kind of in the wrong packaging. This isn't a bad packaging for the product. It just disoriented me as someone who's tried a lot of complexion products in her day. I think it's really nice. I think there are a lot of people for whom this will be their one and only ride or die, been waiting for it their whole life, etc., etc. For me, I actually like it. I'm curious to find out whether or not I continue to wear it. Like, if I keep wanting to try it or wanting to put it on. Right now, I feel like I have a lot of SPF on my face and a lot of layers of pretty heavy moisture. That's nice, but it's also a little much for me. It's setting down pretty well though. Yeah, I'll have to keep experimenting with it. And then also for me, I need a little bit more coverage and I need something a little bit brightening in addition to this. So I'm going in with my current favorite, the Refi Concealer in the shade 01. And I'm sorry to everyone, I forgot to say that the Best Skin Days product was in shade 1. Okay, so that color corrected a bit. It brought my face more up to the light level of my neck. And even though I was adding yet another layer of base product, the Refi Concealer really sets down. So actually it kind of mixed with everything that was on my face and then started setting and like locked it down. So my face feels a little sturdier and drier, like a little less damp now that I've added it on, but it still feels like a lot of product. And I'm going to continue on in that vein, layering on even more product with this, the star of the show. This is the Made by Michell Curve Case Cream Blusher Bronzer Palette in the shade Lighter. So I think there's a light and then a lighter. And yes, this bottom row is why I got this for review. All 4 of these shades are like mucky, olivey, gray cream products. And then on this top row, I think this one I really like. It's just, they're very pale. This really, really pale peach. I really also like this. These 2 are probably not so much for me, but there's a lot of promise here. And I just cannot wait to see how this looks. The cream is quite firm. It has a scent. It's a little bit hard to put my finger on. Like a scented plastic doll toy from the 90s if the scent was aftershave. Like if a Ken doll had a scent. This is basically old gum in my mind. I know that this might surprise you. I think that people think of old gum as, which is what I've always said is like the dream blush shade that I would like to create, my dream blush. People are always sending me products that are like, it's old gum, it looks like old gum, but then they're always much pinker or more mauve. Like they always have a lot more color than what I imagine old gum to be. I'm really thinking of like very old gum that's been chewed. It was once pink, but all of the pink literally has been chewed away. And now it's just this kind of nasty, kind of greenish gray color with maybe a vestige of the pink that it once was. This is so light though that it's not adding color, like blush color. I think this is probably supposed to be a contour, but I like that because that means that I can mix it with other things. Let me give you some swatches in the back of my hand. This is amazing. They are much lighter than I expected. So I thought that it would just be this one. They're more sheer than I thought that they would be. Let me now confess, I don't know who Michell is. I think Made by Michell is, or Michell. I think Made by Michell is an influencer brand. I hope you're not scandalized. I'm sorry to say it, but Michell, whoever you are, slay. Okay, so I'm going to take this off because I think that for me, I think the very pale one is going to be a mix-in. I'm always going to be able to use that to make other blushes, other cream blushes suit my skin better. But actually these darker ones are going to work straight on my skin because they are much less pigmented than I thought that they were. Curiously, a lot of the base product rubbed away when I was wiping that blush off, the Iris&Romeo Best Skin. It just kind of wiped right off. So take note. I actually think I want to try this one. The shade is Cloud Carve. And again, that is definitely supposed to be contour, but I'm not really a contouring person over here. So I'm sort of using it as like brown blush. Although it's making me want to contour because putting it on, it doesn't look like blush. It looks like contour. It's funny. I think I resist contour because I don't have any contour color that works for me. I never before have found one. I usually end up using contour colors as blushes because they're always a little orange or a little rosy for me. So they make more sense as blushes. This doesn't really make sense as a blush for me. It actually is looking like a shadow. Like it actually has enough green in it not to turn pink or not to turn orange on my face. It's like the first time I've really seen what a contour color would look like if you used it wrong, if it's the right color to contour on your own face. Wild. So I'm actually going to kind of rub it in and buff it out. And I'm going to use the actual blush colors, which I was much more attracted to these ones on the bottom because they look so mucky, but they're definitely contours. So there's Peach Fuzz, which is this one. It's so pale. I'm so excited that you can't really see it. It's on this side, but not this side. Okay, I'm adding in a little bit of this top left-hand corner shade, which is Little by Little, and that is showing up more on my skin. You can see the color more, but it looks so incredibly natural. It's lightly pigmented. It's a light color. It's really blending in. I've truly never come across makeup shades that are so obviously designed for somebody very pale rather than just light, and they're thoughtfully designed for somebody very pale. It's not just the color of the pigment, it's the amount of pigment that's in the cream. The colors themselves have been tinkered with and kind of calibrated for pale skin so that they're not overwhelming. The shade isn't overwhelming in addition to like the level of pigment and all of that. I feel kind of overexcited and overwhelmed, and I have regrets about the day, and so I'm going to try to give you all the information. One, I think that all of the layers of other stuff that I'm testing today, like the Skin Glow, the Iris&Romeo, all of that is kind of doing a disservice to my ability to really understand the formulas here because sort of all mixing together, we're getting a lot of glow from underneath. I don't really like the way that the rest of my skin is looking down here, so it's sort of detracting from what these products could do. What I really can't wait for is to play with these with my usual kind of bulletproof, everyday, tried and true base makeup and see what I can do with them. Especially this shade. It looks a little darker in the pan than it actually is. It's so natural looking and feeling. Really, really like the dream blush. And then I feel like the very pale one, Peach Fuzz, and even the ones down here, I can use them to mix in to make other cheek products work better and feel more minimal and blend more seamlessly into my skin and not overpower me. So it's really, really exciting. I don't like the scent. I don't know what it is. It's like a little bit floral, a little bit cologne. It's not an overpowering scent, but it's off-putting enough that I feel like it might cause me to reach for this less frequently. So that is a little bit too bad, but I'm so excited about the formula and the colors that I'm definitely going to give it the old college try. And then the last thing I have to say is that it's a little bit hard to tell if this is going to set down. It doesn't feel like they're going to set down very well. They feel really creamy. There's a close-up finger swatch of Little by Little, so you can see how incredibly pale of a color it actually is, how milky and how lightly pigmented it actually is. I'm even excited to use these other colors that I thought wouldn't work for me because they're equally kind of milky, still a little bright tone-wise, but it's like if there ever was going to be a bright pink that worked for me, it would be this one. If there ever was going to be a bright orchid, it would be this one. So it'll be fun to play with them. Okay, really fun. More to come with those, more to learn. I got something else from Makeup by Michell. I just couldn't resist. This is the Blursh Balm Lights in the shade Drip Drip. It's a cream highlight. It was the swatches that did it. It's so shiny. Based on the cream cheek formula, I'm worried that it's not going to set down. I'm worried this is going to be just like a really sticky cream that'll stay creamy all the time. It has the same scent. I just don't know. It also looked really silver and glittery in the tube. It's just like the online pictures is like incredibly shiny. It's glitter, but it's done in that way. It's like the Balm version of the Fenty highlight. Nothing looks as wet as really tiny shimmers suspended. This is a very beautiful, natural, everyday makeup cheek. I just need to say, let's admire it before I cover it up with glitter. That's beautiful. It's not really transferring a ton of the shimmers to my cheek. As I try to use it, it's like compacting the balm and they're getting squashed together. There is definitely some of that wet look shine now on my cheeks, but it didn't do quite what I thought it would. It didn't go quite to that wild wet look level where it kind of looks like a liquid eyeshadow, like I thought it would based on the swatch in the back of my hand, which is okay. It does feel really sticky, a bit goopy, like it's not going to set down, etc. This makeup is so art supplies, you know, it's so lovely and fun to play with. Definitely thoughtfully and passionately designed. And with the very pale shades in the palette, really giving me something that I've never seen before, that I've never had. I will just have to wait and see if practically I end up wanting to use it with any kind of frequency. But what fun. This is one of the new shades of Armani Skin Tint. I think it's in the shade Sparkle. I think it's just called Sparkle. I got some really good natural light swatches of the 3 new shades on Instagram, so I'll link that reel down below. I like this one because it's really sheer, very sparkly, really easy to apply, impossible to mess up. I've worn it one time before and I'm wearing it again now. Even the champagne color, the shimmer, doesn't really blank out the lid. It just puts on a sheer wash of really sparkly shine that dries down and is very sturdy. I think you can see the shine. It's really lovely. My experience with the Armani eye tints is that they are impossible to mess up because they're really tints. They're pretty sheer and they do dry down so they don't mess themselves up throughout the day. I feel like they're perfect for 2 demographics. One, makeup beginners who want something kind of high end. So if you're not very comfortable with makeup but you want nice makeup, this is the ideal eyeshadow. Honestly, it's like the ideal liquid eyeshadow. Also, people who are familiar with makeup aficionados who prefer the kind of red carpet celebrity makeup look, something pretty subtle, something that kind of looks expensive on the face, you know? This definitely checks all of those boxes. I really like this. This is a great everyday eyeshadow with a little shine. But the Armani eye tints also come in non-sparkly. They come in like matte colors as well. This is just what I like to wear on my eyes. I'm going to throw on a little mascara, the one from Make Beauty. I actually like how it's all coming together. I mean, the Armani eye tint, it's the very definition of a sheer wash of shine on the lids. A wash of sparkle, a wash of sophisticated glimmer. I feel like my skin is pretty heavy with product, but I don't think it looks bad. I actually think it looks really good. It looks fresh. It looks skin-like. You can kind of see some of the texture and the scars, but they're not distracting. I even feel like Drip Drip cream highlight. When I really sit back and look, when I was applying it like with my fingers, it transferred just enough of those glimmers for my cheeks to be really lit up and, you know, would look amazing like in the sunlight or in the club, you know, like it's really amazing. But it's not so much, it's not that thick application that I had on my hand that makes it look almost like costumey, you know? Everything's working. It all looks, I think, cleaner and subtler than it feels because it does feel like I've got a lot of stuff on my face. Let's swatch the Merit lippies. Let's do it. So here's Du Jour, which is in the new formula, the Signature Lip Blush formula. The other 2 are the Signature Lip and the Signature Lip Matte. This is Merit's 3rd lip lipstick formula. And as I kind of feared, because of the name and the description, it's quite silicone-y feeling, which is not to say it has silicone in it. I don't know what's causing that, but it feels like they took the original formula or the matte formula and mixed it with some like Benefit Professional. You know, it just has that like slick, it's not exactly plasticky, but the feeling of something that sort of stays on the surface of the skin rather than becoming one with the skin. Charlotte Tilbury lipsticks have the same quality. I often find it in products that are trying to look matte without feeling dry. And it's just a kind of cosmetic formulation that I don't like. Like, it's a trick in contemporary cosmetic formulas that I don't like personally, but I know that a lot of people do like it. Like, my friend Simbri was here just a couple days ago and we were playing with this and we both swatched this and she was like, I really like products that have this quality. It's almost like the level of sheerness and softness that you would get with a lip balm, but it's very matte and it feels more makeup-y than like skincare. But it's just not my favorite. I think it looks good. I think the color is really pretty. I mean, Merit can honestly do no wrong when it comes to color, and most of their formulas are really amazing. I understand why they did this, but it's just not going to be my favorite, and I will probably give this away. It's really soft and sheer, velvety, matte look. Absolutely what they say it is, just like a blush of color on the lips. This is Black Tie, which is a new color of the Signature Lip Matte from Merit. I did a whole video reviewing the Signature Lip Matte formula and all of the colors when it first launched. Ended up not liking it quite as much as the original formula because I feel like in order to make it matte, they mixed in whatever ingredient I was just talking about that kind of makes it feel a little bit silicone-y. This has the same slidey sitting on the surface of the lips Charlotte Tilbury lipstick formula-esque quality as the lip blush, but it's stiffer than the lip blush. It has more pigment, it has a little bit more stick-to-itiveness, a little more presence. So I like it better. I still like it. It's just fine. But the original Merit Signature Lip formula hits it out of the park for me so far and is my favorite lipstick formula of all time. And these two other formulas just aren't quite there for me. They aren't perfect in every way for me the way that that first one is. With this, I also struggled a little bit to get the pigment even. I think maybe it's not supposed to be built up this much. So there's Black Tie kind of blotted down and rubbed in a little bit, and it still has a tiny bit of blotchiness, but in like a sensual way. You know, it's sort of sensually uneven on the lips. The lips themselves are a presence with the product, and I quite like that. The color is gorgeous. It's a really pretty addition in the holiday kit. It's just that the Merit matte lip will never be as beloved to me as the original Signature. So let's go ahead and try the last one. Okay, the new shade of Merit Signature Lip is Bespoke, and my God, it is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. It's like a soft burgundy brown. They already have such beautiful browns in the Signature Lip line. I don't know how they managed to find the cracks between them to find a new one, but this feels like it's a little bit rosier than 1990, but not as red as Tiger. I actually have the others here. Let's do some comparisons. So yes, it's just as I suspected. This is Bespoke in the middle. Tiger is more of a brick reddish brown. 1990 is more cool toned, like more of a true brown. Bespoke is like a soft, rosy burgundy brown shade, which honestly, it's milder in a way. It's a bit more wearable than either 1990 or Tiger. It's almost like 1990 and Tiger got mixed together. So for me, that makes it the perfect wearable, soft, rosy brown, basically like the perfect Merit lipstick. I didn't know. I hadn't looked at the colors. I didn't know what they were going to look like. I'm very excited about this. There it is, blotted down a little bit. It's like the most wearable fall lip color that I've ever seen. I love this formula. As I've indicated, I have other videos on the channel swatching all of the colors, talking about the formula, but essentially it's like the perfect tinted lip balm, but feels like makeup and looks and wears like makeup, but it has the nourishing skincare qualities that you would want from a tinted lip balm and the ease of use of something like a tinted lip balm. So it's really the perfect hybrid. And wow, with such a wild, random array of products, layering so much that's emollient onto my skin, I'm getting mascara everywhere because I wiped off the mascara wand on a paper towel and then I kept using that paper towel. Really no one to blame but myself. I thought as I was going along that I was going to end up with sort of a messy, dripping, uncohesive look. And instead, I've ended up with a pretty glossy but very wearable fall look that totally matches my entire outfit and is really working. Stars of the show, looking back over it, in terms of what's standing out in my mind, the shocker of the video was definitely the Made by Michell palette. I mean, those colors, it's like nothing I've ever seen. I can still kind of smell the smell, so I don't know if I'm going to bond with it. That's the thing. I'm really glad that I tried it. It's delightful to see a thing like that. It's so unique, and I really love the way that the blushes looked on my cheeks. I don't know if I'll bond with the product. We will see. For me personally, things that'll go straight into my makeup bag, the Armani eye tint in Sparkle and this Merit lipstick in Bespoke. I can just tell right away. I've already bonded with them. But all of it was quite interesting. I stand by what I said. I think that the YSC super glossy hydrating lip mask is maybe the most exquisite thing that we looked at today. Thank you so much for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did and you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. And don't forget to take extra good care of yourself so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.